Hi, my name is Anthony Smith, and today we'll be talking about the terms of use and particularly about the company Priceline.com. Terms of use are on a company's website to help protect them. These are usually agreements between the user of the site and the company to use the site for its intended purposes. In this video, we'll look at Priceline.com's terms of use and decide whether they're considered valid, if they can be sued, and what changes could be made to this document to help the company. First of all, are the terms of use on this site valid? In the physical world, if a product or idea is not copyrighted, there is no legal protection that's going to keep it safe. In the digital world, however, there are more protections for content that's uploaded. When someone creates a digital work, it's automatically copyrighted to that individual. It seems that terms of use have the same effect. There are arguments about whether or not terms of use are valid, binding contracts. In the case of Ticketmaster Corporation versus Tickets.com Incorporated, the court ruled that the terms on Ticketmaster's site were a valid contract, and they told Tickets.com that they had to stop downloading information from the site because the terms stated that it was for personal use only. Tickets.com was taking information from Ticketmaster and posting it to their site to get better sales. Overall, the terms of use that are accepted with the use of a site are considered browse wrap, and it can be hard to decide whether they're enforceable or not. If a case came up against Priceline, like the one mentioned earlier, Priceline would more than likely have a valid and enforceable document or contract because it states in their terms of use that bots, spiders, or scrapers cannot take information from the site without written permission from Priceline. Are visitors bound to this contract or terms of agreement, terms of use, or should they have to click an I agree button? Users of the site do not necessarily have to click anything that says that they agree to the terms of use. In the terms of use for Priceline, it states that the user agrees to the terms that they continue using the site and to stop using the site if they disagree. Right now, the terms of use fall under the browse wrap category, as I said earlier. That means that unregistered users have no way to agree to the terms of using the site, and they assume that they're held accountable for following those terms of use. If we had a dispute with Priceline.com, could we sue them? Why or why not? So yes, you could sue, technically, Priceline for the dispute that you have with them. In Priceline's terms of use, they say that disputes can either be handled by the American Arbitration Association or by a suit in small claims court. Now, arbitration is a process of having a third party, and in this case, the Arbitration Association of America, they mediate between two parties and they settle the dispute without having those parties go to court. The terms of use also say, however, that the class action lawsuits can't be brought against the company. So this means that a group can't come together and sue Priceline. This can be overruled by the federal court if the acts of the company are unconscionable. This was the case with AT&T when they had a class action lawsuit brought against them. The California Supreme Court ruled that arbitration terms in the contract were unconscionable because it did not allow for class-wide proceedings. If something were similar to happen with Priceline, they could also face a class action lawsuit because they could, find that the same thing, that the terms, the arbitration terms and their terms of use could be unconscionable depending on what they were being sued for. So what changes would I recommend? So because the user has to submit personal information to the site, and technically they are sending money through this site, Priceline should have an I agree button that lets the users accept their terms of use. This way, Priceline would be pretty certain that they would be protected in court if the user agrees to their terms physically rather than just assuming that they've read these terms of use when they're using their site. When I looked at the initial sign up for the Priceline's website, I did not see an I agree button whenever I could make an account with them. So I would also recommend that Priceline make their users aware of the changes and updates to their terms of use. That way, if they're making the users aware, they're less likely to breach the terms that they've set forth for those users. There is a checkback clause that's included in the terms of use of Priceline, however. It's not fair to the consumers, really, that they should be held to those terms if they weren't made aware of those changes. And there are different sites that users can go to that help track certain updates and changes to terms of use. Right now, it's mostly for like bigger websites like Google and things like that, though. So that's really all that I have for the discussion of Priceline's terms of use. Hopefully, some of these pieces of information were useful. And just make sure that you always do your research when you're writing the terms of use for a website that you happen to start or own, or just better yet, hire a lawyer to help you out.